On the Great South Bay, the Stony Brook University School of Marine and Atmospheric Sciences buoy reported east wind at 8 knots. The air temperature was 54 degrees. On the Sound, the University of Connecticut Execution Rocks, winds were northeast at 10 knots, gusting to 14 knots. The air temperature was 56 degrees. The following are coastal weather reports. As of 4 p.m. at Eaton's Neck, temperature was 54 degrees. Wind was east at 7 miles an hour. For the following areas, in New Jersey, Hudson, Eastern Essex and Eastern Union, and the following areas, in New York, Staten Island, Brooklyn, Southwest Suffolk, Southern Queens and Southern Nassau. Coastal flood advisory in effect from 8 a.m. to noon Wednesday. The National Weather Service in Upton has issued a coastal flood advisory, which is in effect from 8 a.m. to noon Wednesday. Locations: lying coastal areas along New York Harbor, Newark Bay, Arthur Kill, and lower reaches of Hackensack and Passaic Rivers, and the South Shore bays of western Long Island, Queens, and Brooklyn. Tidal departures: 3/4 to 1/1/2 feet above astronomical tides. Beach erosion: minor beach erosion potential Wednesday afternoon into Thursday morning along the ocean beaches of Long Island from 5 to 8 feet surf. Coastal flooding timing, around the times of high tide between 8 a.m. and noon Wednesday. Additional minor flooding is possible with the Wednesday night high tide cycle, particularly along the South Shore bays. Impacts: minor flooding of the most vulnerable shore roads, and adjacent to properties due to height of storm tide or wave splash over. The majority of roads remain passable with only isolated closures. There is no significant threat to life, and any impact on property is minimal. A coastal flood advisory indicates that onshore winds and tides will combine to generate flooding of low areas along the shore. For the following areas, in Connecticut, southern Fairfield and southern New Haven, and the following areas, in New York, southern Westchester, northwest Suffolk and northern Nassau. Coastal flood advisory in effect from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Wednesday. The National Weather Service in Upton has issued a coastal flood advisory, which is in effect from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Wednesday. Locations: lying coastal areas along western and central Long Island Sound. Tidal departures: 3/4 to 1/1/4 feet above astronomical high tides. Coastal flood timing, around the times of high tide between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Wednesday afternoon. Impacts: minor flooding of the most vulnerable shore roads, and adjacent to properties due to height of storm tide or wave splash over. The majority of roads remain passable with only isolated closures. There is no significant threat to life, and any impact on property is minimal. A coastal flood advisory indicates that onshore winds and tides will combine to generate flooding of low areas along the shore. For the following areas, in New Jersey, Middlesex, western Monmouth and eastern Monmouth. Coastal flood advisory in effect from 6 a.m. to noon Wednesday. The National Weather Service in Mount Holly has issued a coastal flood advisory, which is in effect from 6 a.m. to noon Wednesday. Coastal flooding: minor tidal flooding at high tide tomorrow morning is expected along the New Jersey Shore, Delaware beaches and lower Delaware Bay. Timing: high tide on the ocean in Delaware Bay will occur between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. High tide on back bays may occur up to 2 hours later. Impacts: minor tidal flooding is expected. However, if any heavy rain occurs with the high tide, it could exacerbate tidal flooding impacts. A coastal flood advisory means that minor tidal flooding is expected. Minor tidal flooding often results in some road closures. Usually, the most vulnerable roadways will flood. Do not leave your vehicle at a location that is prone to tidal flooding. Do not drive your vehicle through flood waters. The water may be deeper than you think it is. You will be putting yourself in danger, and your vehicle may be damaged, leading to costly repairs. For a list of the impact of different tide heights in your county, please go to www.erh.noaa.gov/price/tides.html in lowercase. Here is the latest weather map discussion.